Welcome to episode 188, Grow Together.
This is our second episode in our relationship series, and today we are talking about kind of peer relationships, how you grow with your friends.
My name is John, this is Braden, and we're just so thrilled that you have joined us today. So episode 1 taught us to see ourselves as God sees us.
Yeah, if you guys have found this useful or you enjoy the podcast, maybe you're doing it in a small group, then share this with anyone you want to. You can find us on any podcast player, you can get an email subscription, or YouTube.
And there's a leader guide at BibleStoryPodcast.com, so you can discuss these things a little bit easier, or more robustly, so to speak, with your friends that you're gathering with.
Yeah, let us help you.
All right, so we've got a big question for you today to start things off.
Yeah, so we want to start off with a little bit of a conversation to know where you guys are at, jumping into a question that we would like you to discuss with one another.
So what do you think the purpose of community is? And why did God create us as social beings? Why do we need friends and community? So we'll check back with you in a couple minutes. Hit pause and do that.
Okay, welcome back. I hope you had good discussion. We, again, as I said, are going to be talking about community and our relationship with people around us, people that we are really good friends with, and people maybe we just kind of pass on the street.
So let's get a little bit of background information here for us. Jesus spent 3 years with his disciples, mostly guys his own age, really. And he walked alongside them, teaching them what they needed to learn. And it would have been a really intense time, but it was also just a really great social interaction for them. They were good friends.
Yeah, they got to travel everywhere and talk to different people and experience a lot of things together, just like kind of if you think learning from your friends, or with your friends rather. So today we're going to be reading from 1 Peter. I will mention the scripture right away when you can go ahead and read it. But Peter was one of Jesus's disciples. So he was someone who knew Jesus personally. He learned directly from him, from the words of Jesus himself. And he was kind of then writing these letters to several churches that were kind of scattered around a lot of different places. And so he's writing these letters after Jesus's death and resurrection.
So we want you to take a minute, read 1 Peter chapter 4, verses 8 through 11. And if you need a Bible, I really appreciate the Bible app by YouVersion on both Android devices and iPhone devices. So you can look it up in your app store and download that. And then look up this text and read it.
Yeah. Actually, if you need a Bible and you wanted to email us, we could probably send you one.
We have some Bibles.
We got some Bibles. So hit pause, read that, and we'll be here. We are designed to live in community. One of the best things about living in community and being friends with other people is that we get to grow together. We get to learn things at the same time. We get to learn from other people's mistakes. It's a really powerful way of doing life.
Yeah, and part of growing together is serving each other.
Yes, which seems easy.
Seems easy.
Yeah.
I've got lots of ideas for you on this one.
Oh, great. On how I can serve you?
Yes.
Perfect. Okay. So think of the last time that you hung out with a group of friends or maybe your family. Sometimes we can get caught up in what we want to receive from that interaction. So we're thinking, well, how are they serving me? So are we going to have fun? Maybe they're going to help me with a specific project I have around the house or for school. Maybe I have something that's been really on my heart or mind that I want to talk about. I just got to unload all this information.
And these things are fine, but if we are just looking to relationships for our own gain, for our own good, they become pretty shallow. In fact, they become relationships that are very one-sided.
Yeah, and we're not going to learn if they are one-sided in that way. We don't really learn. There's not much kind of information going back and forth. It's just like, hey, you're here to serve me, and I'm that's where I'm at.
Yeah, and Peter reminds us to serve one another with the gifts that we have that are given to us by God.
It's a cool picture. So God's given us all these skills and assets that we can use to make the life as Christians, the life as people, better. We get to come alongside people and use our skills and build people up, which is amazing.
Yeah, so are you a natural helper? Maybe you're like Braden and a bit of an artist. Are you a great listener? You know, all these skills are God-given skills. Mm-hmm. They can be really amazing ways to serve and help the people around you.
And when you're living in how God's created you, it's actually really fun then to use those things to serve other people.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so growing up, I had this friend named Skylar. Actually, I still have my friend Skylar. He's a great friend. He was my best friend, and when we were ages 4 through 5, 6, 7, somewhere in there, we played hockey together. And I was less than a year older than him, but that meant that I was always kind of 1 year ahead of him in the age levels of hockey and sports. Well, Skylar and I, we're playing together, and we're in what's called Tom Thumbs. Don't ask me why it was that name, but it was. And we had a lot of fun. It was for ages, I think, 4 and 5. Really young kids. And I moved on to Mighty Mites, which is for kids ages 6 and 7. And Skylar was still in Tom Thumbs, and the next year he was ready to join me in Mighty Mites. And he comes over to my house, and we're talking, and you know, he's nervous about joining in hockey with an older group. And I sensed his concern, I sensed his nervousness, and so I felt that I needed to give him some warning about how intense hockey is for kids age 6 and 7. I mean, we were just at the pinnacle of hockey. Not really. And so I look at Skylar with some intense eyes. You know how Dwayne Johnson, The Rock, gives that look? Well, it wasn't really like that. But I said, Skylar, they take slap shots. Well, as you can imagine, a kid 6 or 7 doesn't take a real hard slap shot. But this did not help the situation at all. I wasn't serving him. I wasn't putting his needs where they needed to be. I was actually being really unhelpful. I was making him more nervous, more scared about joining the Mighty Mite team in Winfield, Alberta. And we had a great season. We got to the rink, we stepped onto the ice, and it was a lot of fun. But I needed to learn, and I didn't learn at that young age yet, how to put other people's needs ahead of my own. Growth Tip Time! Growth Tip Time! So a growth tip is a way for each of us to grow in a relationship with Jesus.
Yeah, and if you grow enough, you can be part of the Mighty Mites.
Ah, that's hockey.
Well, you know, the Mighty...
I gotta say, Tom Thumbs, Mighty Mites.
Those are some good names.
They're pretty cute names.
The Tom Thumbs.
Yes. I don't know who lost their thumbs. I guess it was Tom.
Did you even have skates at that age?
We were little. I had some like antique skates, like what would be considered antiques today. They were super old then, and well, they would be antiques
That's
today.
Awesome. I love the picture of it.
Yeah.
Okay, so jumping into our growth tip. Remember, a growth tip is a way for us to grow in a relationship with Jesus Christ.
Mm-hmm. So just a really simple thing that we have for you today.
Yeah.
We want you to make a plan to serve somebody else. Serve them in a manner that uses your skill sets that God has given you.
Yeah, so here's the thing. Just make it happen. Make the plan. Write it down. You know, put it in your calendar. Arrange the rides with your parents. You know, book the day off. Whatever you have to do. Send a text message. Just make it happen. Actually do it.
Yeah, and the idea is here, be intentional about it. Mm-hmm. If you don't make a plan, if you don't do all these things that we're suggesting, well, it's really easy just to kind of forget about it and not do anything. And Well, that doesn't serve anybody at all.
Yeah.
It certainly doesn't help your friend, and it doesn't help you grow.
Peter today reminds us that we can serve each other, that we get to serve each other with the skills and talents and characteristics that God has given us. And through that, we grow together.
Now, we are made to do life together. Friends are so important as we walk with God together. We get to support each other, and we'll make mistakes from time to time, and that's okay. But as we learn from each other's mistakes and from some of the things that we do well, we're going to grow in our relationship with God.
We can inspire each other just to move and grow closer to God just by using the talents that He's given us, to encourage one another in those things, to teach each other new skills, and to share and serve those things as we build a really healthy, godly community.
Now, we're going to get to the most important part of each episode, which is the discussion part. It's where you guys discuss things with your friends, your family, whomever you're listening with, and challenge one another by the stories, the thoughts that you might have together. So let's get into these questions.
All right, question number 1 is, how do you encourage other people in their faith? Hit pause and share.
Question number 2, how might you distract or disrupt others in their walk with Christ? Hit pause and share.
Our third and final question is there a way that you can turn away from these distractions or disruptions when they come into your relationship with Jesus Christ? Hit pause and share. Thanks everyone for joining us today. Remember, there is nothing more important than a growing relationship with Jesus Christ.
We are praying for you that you will find peace and encouragement as you give up your own way to follow Jesus.
See you next week.